One of the biggest dilemmas working with people is that they think their back pain comes from their back. And back pain, the last place back pain comes from is the back. Unless you've done something horrible, you've been hit by a car, you lifted up something too heavy, or, it has to be something horrible. You have a genetic defect. The reason why it shows up in your back is because something going on somewhere else in your body. And we're going to go over it because it's typically from your calves. Your calves, though they're so far away from your low back, tends to create a situation biomechanically in which it creates excess stress into the low back. And what it does is the calf muscles start to shorten, and that causes your tail to tuck, your abs to shut off, and a whole lot of pressure to load in your back as your head goes forward. So it creates a torque from the head, loading the low back. So as the calves lengthen, you'll notice your belly comes in and you can stand up straighter. And when we work with clients, it's really interesting that they come into our house and we work on them, and there's a pull string from a fan, and most people's heads don't run into it until after we work on them because they're standing up straighter, and we spend most of the time stretching their calves. So we're going to do that with you. We're really going to stretch the calves up and then see how it impacts low back stress and pain. And it can also affect hip pain too. So we're going to start out with the ball underneath our left foot, and we're going to start out with our feet parallel. Abs are nice and tight. We're going to start out just by rolling out your foot. Just get anything out of there that feels sore. Keep your abs engaged. Keep your feet parallel. Knees are going in the same direction as your feet. That's probably the biggest key here, is having the feet go in the same direction as the knees, because it keeps your knees out of problems too. Any of the soreness you're feeling on the underside of your foot has nothing to do with your this ball. It has to do with how you use your feet. And keep those feet parallel as you run your heel, lateral aspect of your foot, ball of your foot, or your toes. You can go side to side, figure eights, doesn't matter as long as your feet stay parallel. And your abs are engaged. Keep your head over the top of your body, because that's where problems start, is we start leaning over, and it allows us to tighten up our calves. Okay, now bend both knees, continue to roll out your foot. Try to move from your hips, keep your abs engaged. Really suck in that tummy. Roll it out. Keep those feet parallel. And knees going in the same direction as your feet. Okay, we're going to switch sides. Feet are parallel. So last Tuesday we worked on, or Tuesday of last week, we worked on, no, it was Thursday, sorry. We worked on plantar fasciitis, because most foot pain is not from the feet, it's from the calves. So these calves are wonderful muscles. It allows us to walk and locomote through life, but if they're not stable, or they're doing the wrong thing, can create a lot of problems. Foot pain, low back pain, neck pain, and stomach problems. Okay, now bend both knees, continue to roll out your foot. The reason why it would cause stomach problems is because it, as I showed you before, it causes your belly to hang out, and then your internal organs become gravitational. We don't want them to be. They're supposed to be suspended and supported. Roll out that heel, lateral aspect of your foot, ball of your foot, toes. Oh, yes. And good. Now, we start the process of starting to bend or lengthen the gastroc. So the ball of your left foot is on the block, your feet are parallel, abs are nice and tight. You're sucking your tummy. Keep those feet parallel as you externally rotate your knees. Abs are nice and tight. First, second, third chakras are on. First chakra is your pelvic floor. Second chakra is your lower abs. Third chakra is your upper abs. We want them all stabilized and supported as you keep your head over the top of the block in your feet. Pump those hips forward, because we're learning how to mount the hips. You're going to feel the stretch of the calf. Whoa! Abs are nice and tight. Suck in that tummy. And then we're going to do hip circles. Try to keep your head still as you do a hip circle. There's no reason for your head to move. In fact, we're using what's called the writing reflex. Opposite direction, thank you. Keep your knees turned up, feet parallel, abs nice and tight. First, second, third chakras are on.
10.
Okay, and then here we go. We're going to continue to stretch the calf, but we're going to do it more functionally as you lift your knee above your hip and then lower it back down. Abs are nice and tight, above your knee, or your hip and down. Your knee above your hip, that's what I meant to say. You can do it like Maria's doing it with both hands free, or you can do it like I'm doing it with one hand stabilizing. Either way works. Suck in that tummy, keep your head over the top of your feet, keep your hips forward. Good. We're going to switch sides before I forget what we did.
Great idea.
Yeah. We're going to tighten our abs. First chakra is on. Second chakra, third chakra. Abs are nice and tight. Feet are parallel. Knees are turned out. Pump your hips forward. Just feel what it feels like to lengthen this gastroc. Notice how different it feels. Feel the pressure that you might feel in your foot, calf, or even low back. We're working muscles and not joints, so I don't want you to feel it in your foot or your low back. Pump those hips forward. Suck in that tummy.
20.
Okay, here we go. You're going to lift up that left knee and your right hand. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in that tummy. You're breathing. Good. We're going to switch sides again. So we're starting the lengthening process of the gastroc. Abs are nice and tight. So now we're going to go after the soleus, the muscle underneath the gastroc. You're going to suck in your tummy. Your shoulder blades are down and back. Your head's over the top of your pelvic floor and the blocks on your feet. Abs are nice and tight. We're going to bend your knees now. Don't laugh at me. Bend and straighten, bend and straighten. So the movie Top Gun opens today. I'm going to go to it on Saturday with Maria. 30 years in the making. There would be no way that someone 58 years old would be still flying an airplane, but we have to have a suspension of disbelief. Okay? Keep yourself in this position with the bent knee as you take your leg across midline. Your abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. We're going to start our first butt exercises in conjunction with this soleus opening up. You're going to hinge forward and you're going to come back up. Suck in that tummy. Don't let it hang out. Smiles are up. Oh, there's Wolfie. Keep breathing.
Abs in.
She's talking to you guys.
10.
Okay.
You notice I can only see one person.
No, she's looking this way. Staying in this position, abs are nice and tight. You're going to bend and straighten that rear leg. This is going to teach you to step through without going off balance and lengthening that soleus muscle. Working your butt muscles as well. Is that 10?
10.
Okay, switch sides. We're going to start out with our foot on the block. Feet parallel, knees going in the same direction. First, second, third chakras on. First, mount your hips so your hips are forward. Abs are engaged. Then we're going to bend our knees. And this is going to tell you when you do arch your back. Your back should arch a tiny little bit as you do this. And your tail should not tuck under. Keep breathing, keep smiling, keep your abs engaged.
10.
Okay, then we're going to take the leg across midline. Front knee is bent, abs are nice and tight, shoulder blades are down and back. You should feel a stretch on your front soleus muscle. Abs are nice and tight as we hinge forward, keeping our spine straight. This is time under tension. Keep breathing. Abs are engaged.
10.
Okay, stay forward, chest up. You're going to lift lower that rear leg, teaching you how to balance to lift up that rear foot from behind you. Keep that front knee bent. Don't move your head all over the place. Abs.
10.
Okay, good. Come back up again. We're going to switch sides yet again. This time your roller's going to go off to the right as your leg goes back behind you. Your front knee's bent. We're going to hinge forward slightly. You're going to lower your hip down, then you're going to raise your hip up. Whoa! And then down. Keep your core on. Time under tension. So we're working our muscles. Our butt, our quad, our abs, and our lats. Feel what it feels like to work your butt instead of your knee or your low back. How many is that?
9.
Suck
10.
that tummy in. 10. Okay. Stay in this position as we're going to hinge forward and we're going to come back up. Straight spine, no pressure in your low back. If you feel pressure in your low back, stick your butt out and tighten your abs much, much more. Front knee is bent. Suck in that tummy.
10.
All right. We're going to do it. Stay in this position. You're going to bend and straighten that rear leg. Your head shouldn't move. Your foot always goes back to the same spot. What number is that?
9.
And 10.
10.
Okay, now just straighten out your front leg. And you're going to do a forward fold. This will open up your butt muscle, your hamstring, and your calf muscle. Try to point your toes towards your nose. Abs are engaged. Time under tension, you're stretching muscles and not joints. Old drunkard dog. And then come on back up again. We're going to stand feet side by side. Push your hips forward. Unload your back in case you accidentally loaded it. Keep your abs engaged. And then we're switching sides. I forgot what we did. What did we did?
Hinge.
Oh,
Oh, no, rotate.
Oh, that's right. Abs are nice and tight. Rotate, lift, lower your hip. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, we're going to hinge forward slightly. Abs are engaged. Suck in that tummy. We're going to open up the hip and we're going to close it down again. You're primarily using your right glute max. Your quad will stabilize, so will your abs and your lats. But we're trying to get the butt to work instead of the low back. And you can see how the tightness in the calf could create that situation. Suck in that tummy. Woo. Try to keep that knee over the top of the foot.
10.
Okay. Whoa. We're going to hinge forward and then come back up. No pressure in your low back. If you feel pressure in your low back, it means you're rounding your spine. So push your hips back and tighten your abs. Keep breathing. I think the single hardest thing to do is learn how to reach, because you have to stabilize your core in order to do it. Keep your abs engaged.
10.
Okay, stay forward. Abs are nice and tight. We're going to lift lower that rear leg. Foot goes back to the same spot every time. Keep your knee over top of your foot. Suck in your tummy. Shoulder blades are down and back. Good. Come back onto 2 feet.
We're going to stretch.
Oh yeah, we have to stretch forward. Straighten that front leg. Keep that rear leg back, the left leg back. You're just going to reach forward. Try and touch your toes. Get your toes a point towards your nose. We're opening up the hamstring, the calf, and the glute max. Keep your abs engaged because we are stretching muscles and not joints. Time. And good. Come back up again. Oh. Push your hips forward one last time just to make sure you can mount your hips. Shoulder blades are down and back. Oh, and we're switching sides. We're really going after this calf muscle because it can be quite problematic. You're going to put your roller off to the right side. This is going to take a lot of coordination, so be prepared. Abs are engaged. Keep your core on. You're going to bend your right leg and grab it with your left hand. Got it. Keep your abs engaged. Chest up. Shoulder blades are down and back. We're going to have a straight leg. Chest up. Pump your hips forward first. And breathe. Keep sucking in that tummy.
10.
Okay, now you're going to bend your knee and straighten it. Your back is going to arch on this one. Keep your abs engaged to protect that low back. You should feel pressure in your butt and your quad, and that's about it. Smiles are up.
10.
Good, we're switching sides. Rollers off to your left. Okay, you're gonna bend your right leg, put it back behind you. Grab a hold of it. Abs are nice and tight, suck in your tummy. You pump your hips forward first, keep your abs engaged. Suck in that tummy. Keep breathing.
10.
Okay, and now we squat. Bend and straighten your right leg. Keep breathing. Smiles are up. Suck in that tummy.
9. And 10.
Good. Now, stand on 2 feet. You should have a very different experience of your calf muscles than you did in the beginning. Abs are engaged. Notice how you're pitching forward. That's very, very good if you are. We're going to do one last thing in terms of the calf muscles. We're going to put our foot on the block once again. You're going to take your roller out in front of you as you stretch. Try to have a straight spine. Suck in your tummy. Draw your shoulder blades down and back.
And don't forget to keep breathing.
No pressure in your low back. If you feel pressure in your low back, it means your abs are shutting off. Or you're tucking your tail. Okay, we're going to come back up again. You're going to push your hips forward. Abs are nice and tight. We're just mounting the hips. And then we're going to switch sides. Same thing, straight spine. Keep your abs engaged. Activate that pelvic floor. No pressure in your low back or in your knee or your ankle. And you're breathing. Feet are parallel. And we're coming back up again. Push your hips forward. You're going to mount those hips to make sure you're standing over the top of your hips to take pressure out of your low back. Keep breathing. Okay, good. Come off that block. It should be super, super easy to stand on 2 feet now and have your feet be parallel. We're going to internally rotate. We're going to work on actually what causes us to toe out. It's our quads and our hip flexors. Your feet are going to toe in. Abs are nice and tight. You're going to turn your knees out as best you can. And then you're just going to pump your hips forward. It will be tempting to clench your butt. Don't clench your butt. This is happening through your abs. Keep breathing. Notice how your feet feel like they want to turn out. We're not going to let them. Got to work on that. Okay. Keep your feet in this position, and we're going to lean forward. You're just going to hang out here. You can move your hips from side to side while you're in this position.
Just make sure you keep lifting from the arches of your feet, inner thighs, pelvic floor, and your abs.
Almost done. As you now come back up again, you're going to take your arms over the top of your head. Keep those toes in, knees turned out, abs nice and tight. Just because I saw something, we're going to work on something. You're going to bring your arms down. You're going to grab your ball. You're going to put it in between your knees. You're going to slightly toe in. We're working a very specific part of the adductors. Your abs are nice and tight. You're going to squeeze a ball, squeeze a ball, squeeze a ball. You're not squeezing from your ankles. You're squeezing from your hips. I know it's easy to push off of your feet. I want you to try to get it from squeezing your hips together. Abs are engaged, so as you do this, your tummy should suck in. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. Run your feet parallel as you continue squeezing a ball. Squeeze, squeeze, and again, not from your feet, but from those adductors. Suck in that tummy. That's how you know you're using your adductors. Your abs will come in as you do this. Okay, is that 10?
Yeah.
And then we're going to come into a squat. Abs are nice and tight. Suck in your tummy. Squeeze that ball. Once again, if you're using your abs or your adductors properly, it'll cause your abs to activate and not your feet. Shoulder blades are down and back. Keep squeezing that ball. And then here we go. We're going to do squats. Keep squeezing that ball. Don't stop squeezing that ball. You should feel your butt and your adductors and your abs if you're doing this properly. Keep breathing.
10.
Good job. We're going to stay with our hips forward now. It's going to feel strange. Abs are engaged. Shoulder blades are down and back. Really push those hips forward. Suck in your tummy. Squeeze the ball. Squeeze, 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 squeeze the ball. Suck in that tummy. Okay, good. Now you can put your ball aside. Ooh. We're going to interlock our fingers behind our back. Shoulder blades are down and back. You're just going to move your head side to side. Notice if one side's tighter than the other. Keep your abs engaged. Weight through your toes. Jaws relaxed. Good. We're going to come down onto one knee. You're on your left knee, your right foot is forward. Abs are engaged. We're going to start out with just hip circles. Try not to move your head. Your head stays over the top of the block as best you can. Abs are nice and tight. And you're breathing. And then now go in the opposite direction. Smiles are up. Suck in that tummy. Because you're moving from your abs, not from your butt. Okay, reach back, grab that foot once again. Okay, we're gonna come forward, you're gonna lunge forward. Abs are nice and tight, you're sucking your tummy. No pressure in your low back. We're working muscles and not joints. And you're just gonna pump forward. You should not feel pressure in your knee or your low back. If you do, tighten your quads, tighten your abs, activate your lats, suck in your tummy, and breathe. Smiles are up. Okay, go ahead and release this leg. We're going to straighten the front leg once again. You can take it across midline and stretch forward mainly with your left hand. Abs are nice and tight. Suck in that tummy. Chest up. We're stretching muscles and not joints, so you shouldn't feel this in your low back. Okay, come back up again. We are going to switch sides before we move on to other stuff. Feet parallel. Knees over tops of feet. Abs are nice and tight. Remember, head over top of the block. We're going to do hip circles. We're moving from your abs, not from your butt, not from your knees. Keep breathing. Opposite direction. Smiles are up. And now you're going to take your left hand, grab a hold of that right foot, pull it in. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking your tummy. We're going to lunge forward. And we're just going to pump forward. We're lengthening out that rectus, which works in combination with the gastroc. And that's why we have to lengthen both of these in order to stand up straight. Suck in that tummy, no pressure into your low back. Okay, go ahead, release that leg as you take your straight left leg across midline. You're going to stretch forward first with your right hand. Suck in that tummy. We're stretching muscles and not joints. Keep breathing.
You're almost there.
Yeah. Abs are nice and tight. Suck in that tummy. Ooh wee! Notice if one side's tighter than the other. Maybe due to life, maybe due to pickleball. You'll never know.
10.
Okay, come back up again, but we stretch it out either way. We're going to switch sides again. As we now work on some of our low angle function, which we really don't like doing, I was kind of avoiding in my mind as well. Abs are nice and tight, head's over the top of the block. Let's try that again. Head over the top of the block, abs are nice and tight. Hands go back behind you. We're going to lift up 1 inch off the block and then go back down. Abs are nice and tight. 2. You're using muscles, not joints. You shouldn't feel your knee joints. You shouldn't feel your back. You should feel your quads and your abs and your lats. and your butt. Okay, we're going to switch sides on this one since it is intense. Set up in position, your toes are curled under. Notice your resistance is doing this, and because we have resistance to doing it, we avoid it. Abs are nice and tight, arms go back behind you. And here we go. Notice if one side's clearly easier than the other side. Abs are engaged. You're using your quad, your booty, your lats, and your abs. Not your joints.
10.
Good. Switch sides. Now, I really don't want to do this one, but it's an important one to do. Toes are curled under, hands are back behind you, abs are engaged. Abs are engaged. Abs are engaged.
Abs are engaged.
Yes. Here we go. We're lifting our knee up off the ground, 1 inch, and we're going to hinge forward, come back up. Straight spine. Stay low.
Abs are engaged.
Yes. She's talking to you guys. Suck that tummy in. Because you feel tension in your butt doesn't mean you get to turn off your abs. You want to work with tension. Lower back down again and switch sides. If we learn to use muscles instead of joints, we don't wear out joints. Muscles recover in about 3 hours if you do something maximal. Joints, well, take longer.
A lot longer.
Weeks to months. Okay. Abs nice and tight, suck in that time. You keep everything sucked in, arms back behind you, straight spine, 1 inch off the ground, and then hinge forward, come back up.
Abs are engaged.
She's talking to you guys. Suck that tummy in. Straight spine.
10.
10. Good. Whew. We're going to switch sides. That means this knee goes down. So that means your right foot's going to go on the block.
Oh.
And your left knee is going to go against the ground. So it's like this. We're going into deeper angles. We really hate it down here. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking your tummy. We're going to start out by hinging.
Abs are engaged.
She's pointing at you guys, except she has something wrong with her shoulder, so she can't point at you guys and points at me instead. Both shoulders seem to be problematic.
10.
Okay, here we go. You're not going to like this. You're going to lift 1 inch off the ground as we hinge forward. Abs are engaged. You're working your butt. 8, right?
9. 10.
Okay, good. Switch sides. I won't use it. Okay. We're going to start out in this position. We're just going to hinge forward first. Keep your knee on the ground. That's your right knee. But keep your abs engaged. So Mario doesn't have to point at me thinking it's you. Smiles are up.
10.
And then here we go. We're going to lift up 1 inch. And then we're going to hinge forward, come back up. Suck in that tummy. Straight spine, abs engaged. What number?
9. 10.
Whoo! That was a tough one. We're going to come into kneeling real quickly just to give yourself a break and stretch out your quads. We're going to lean back. And we're going to suck in our tummies and then release. Suck in your tummy and release. We're looking at Wolfie. Wolfie's all tangled up in the cords. Why she goes there, we don't understand. Is it 10 yet? Lower your eyebrows
18,
at my...
19, 20.
Okay. Curl your toes under, push your heels back. If you feel that your toes are going to snap off, that really means you got to push your heels back. So push your heels back. Hands go back behind you. Suck in your tummy. Here we go. Same thing. Suck in that tummy. Try to keep your knees together. Shoulder blades down and back. Smiles are up. Keep breathing.
20.
Okay. We're going to go forward again. You're going to be in this position. Your butt's sticking out. We want an arch in the back. Abs are nice and tight. Tighten your pelvic floor first. Okay, we're going to do sit-ups here. Close up your rib cage. You're going to suck your navel to your spine. Just tighten those abs. How do you know a four-legged animal is aging? Their belly starts sticking out. It means they're aging and deconditioning and their organs are starting to hang and they're not as healthy as they used to be. How do you know when a human's doing the same thing? Their belly hangs out, but what we can't see is the pelvic floor weakens. And by weakening, it overly tightens up. And that becomes problematic.
20.
Good. Come back into kneeling. Now we start the fun stuff. We're going to have a seat on top of the ball, on top of the block. The ball's midway between your pubic bone and your tailbone. Maria's going to take us through this really cool cervical motion, abdominal connection, because that piece is so very important, especially now that we've opened up the calves.
Okay, we're just going to start by closing our eyes and rotating our head in a circle. Big circular motion. Now, as you start to get that rhythm, try to feel your abs engage. So as your neck comes into flexion, you're going to engage your pelvic floor lower abs. As it comes to the side, you're going to transition into your obliques. Then as your neck goes into extension, you're going to engage your upper abs. Keep breathing and try to visualize that circle you're creating with your head, coordinating with the circle you're creating through your abs. Yeah?
Yeah. 9.
10. And then we're going to go in the opposite direction. First, just go with your head. And then really try to coordinate the contraction in your ab, starting with your lower abs as your neck goes into flexion, transitioning through your obliques, and then your upper abs as your neck goes into extension. Visualizing that circle with your head, coordinating with the circle on your abs. And coming back to center. Take a deep inhale and exhale.
And this is where it's really important to get your head over the top of the ball. Just see what it feels like.
We're going to take another deep inhale, extending that spine, reaching up with the crown of your head. And exhale, release. One more time, deep inhale, extending the spine, elongating the neck, reaching up with the crown of your head. And exhale, release. Keep breathing.
Okay, take your right foot forward, left foot stays where it was. We're going to do a little twist. You're going to take your left hand, put it across the outside of your right knee. You're going to put your right hand on your right butt cheek. We're going to turn our torso as much as you can to the right. We talked about it last time. This is contrapposto. Contrapposto is when all the different parts of the body do not face in the same direction. So your shoulders are facing in a different direction than your hips. Now we're going to add a detail, which is contrapposto. The head, you're going to move the head back and forth. You're going to twist to the right, twist to the left. As you keep this rotation on with your abs engaged to protect your neck, as you just learned how to do. Chest up, abs on. Good. We're going to switch sides. Right hand goes on the outside of the left leg, left hand goes on your left butt cheek. Rotate your upper body to the left first. The abs are nice and tight. Suck in that tummy. You're keeping those abs engaged as you now turn your head to left and right. Keep the abs on though. Abs engaged. Good. We're going to bring both legs forward. We're going to have Maria take us through another round of cervical motion. Keep your abs engaged. These are our sit-ups. That's why we're doing it.
Start by rotating your head, making big circles as you breathe. Then once you find a rhythm, try to connect that rotation with the rotation through your abdominal muscles. As you come into flexion, you're engaging your pelvic floor, lower abs, obliques to the side, and your upper abs as you come into extension. Okay, and as you come to center, we're going to go in the opposite direction, making the big circle with your head. And then connecting to your abs, lower abs, pelvic floor, inflection, moving through your obliques and your upper abs as you come into extension. Visualizing that circle with your head, coordinating with the circle through your abs. Keep breathing. Okay, and we can come back to center.
So you should have noticed two things as this was going on. The connection to your abs, because these are sit-ups. These are not just neck motions. The secondary thing is you should have felt your eustachian tubes and your ear canals opening up as we move the head around. So you should have heard your ears clearing. And that's a good thing. And so that's why when people get upper respiratory stuff, I want them moving their head and neck around. So hands going to stick them up, abs are nice and tight, suck in your tummy, shoulder blades are down and back, abs are engaged. We're just going to bounce to activate that pelvic floor ballistically.
Okay, everybody has to smile when we bounce on the ball. That is a requirement.
Keep breathing. This is ultimate happiness. You can take yourself off midline now, but you have to keep your abs engaged as you learned, because anytime your head comes off midline, you have to turn on your abs to protect your neck. Okay, good. We're going to put our hands on our knees. We're going to come into the recovery position. We're going to do sit-ups here. You're going to suck in your tummy as hard as you can and then release. Suck that tummy in and release. Keep the pelvic floor on. Don't clench your butt. It's really tempting to clench your butt because the butt is an ancillary abdominal muscle, but it's not a good abdominal muscle because no one wants to see a six-pack butt. Keep breathing, keep sucking in that tummy, keep smiling up. Okay? What number is that? 20. Okay, good. We're going to come down to the ground. You only need your ball. You can move your block aside. Actually, you don't need your blocks. You're going to sit on top of your ball in cross legs. So you're going to put the ball once again midway between your pubic bone and tailbone. You're going to cross your legs. You can use your blocks to support you up. It is harder balancing, especially what we're going to do. Because we're going to do, once again, our sit-up cervical connection. Okay, so Maria's going to take you through it once again.
Okay, let's start in the opposite direction of rotating our head in a big circle. So once you start to find that rhythm, try to connect your abdominal muscles. So as you go into flexion, pelvic floor, lower abs, obliques as you come through the side, connecting to your upper abs in extension. Keep breathing, visualizing that circle with your head, coordinating with a big circle through your abdomen. And then in the opposite direction, same thing. Find that rotation with your head and then start to coordinate your abdominal muscles, starting in flexion, lower abs, pelvic floor, engaging your obliques, and then your upper abs as you come into extension.
We're going to switch our legs now. We're going to do something different, but we're just going to get the same amount of stretch in there that we did before. And pelvic floor strengthening. Hold on to the blocks, chest is up, shoulder blades are down back. You're going to suck in your tummy, then release. Suck in your tummy, release. Shoulder blades are down and back. You can push into the blocks if you'd like. This is where we really have an opportunity to create body shape.
Really try to stack your shoulders over your hips, elongating your spine, reaching up with the crown of your head as you inhale and exhale, release.
Yeah, we did a lot through the cervical spine, and now we're lengthening the cervical spine, so your ears should feel like they cleared as well as your sinuses.
And a clearer mind.
Okay, let me just get my microphone out of the way. You're going to slide off the ball. Ball's going to go in the small of your back. Yeah, move back so I'm on frame. Hands go back behind you. You don't need your blocks now. Here we go. You're going to suck in your tummy and release. Suck in your tummy, release. Your goal is to try to pop the ball and keep your chest up simultaneously with no work in your neck and shoulders. Now that you know what it feels like to open up your neck. Tighten those abs. Keep breathing. And now keep your abs engaged. Keep them totally tight. Keep your shoulder blades down and back. you're going to rock your head back into extension. And as you do, you should feel your abs tighten. So this is a way of cheating a sit-up, putting it into function. So when your neck goes into extension, you should be protecting your neck by tightening your abs. Good. Go ahead, grab a hold of your knees, chest up, shoulder blades down and back. Once again, you're trying to pop the ball with your belly. Shoulder blades down and back, chest up. No pressure in your neck. Your neck should be nice and loose. Change the shape of your abdomen. How many is that?
18, 19, 20.
Okay, keep your abs engaged, shoulder blades down and back as you rock your neck back into extension again. The reason when we're not working flexion is you do it all day long. You're on your smartphones, computers, you're sitting in sofas, cars, everything flexes your head forward. Seldom do we go back into extension. Good, hands go back behind you again. When I was a kid growing up, there was a comet that was coming really close to the Earth, Comet Kohoutek. It was named after, they found it in Alaska, so they named it an indigenous name from up there. But because of it, there was something called Comet Kohoutek neck, from everyone looking up, because that's how little people looked up into the air. They were blowing out their necks, and it actually became something with a diagnosis code. Okay, here we go. You're gonna straighten both legs. You're gonna lay across the ball. Shoulder blades are down and back. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. You're gonna feel if you accidentally use your hip flexors instead of your abs because they will be tight in front of your hips. You're gonna rock your hips from side to side. Keep your abs engaged. Keep the pelvic floor on. Close up the rib cage. Just go back and forth. And then we're gonna bend our knees. Put the ball underneath your sacrum. We're gonna take our legs up in the air to do our leg drops. But before we start, we're gonna keep our legs straight, pump our toes to our nose to open up the gastroc and soleus one more time, and to get blood flow back to the heart. And that's why the soleus has been assigned the designation of being the second heart in the body, because it does pump the blood from the lower extremity to the liver back to the heart. Okay, now we're gonna drop your heels to your butt. There should be no pain or pressure or discomfort in your knees, because this is non-weight bearing. And if there is, you got to figure out what muscle you have to turn back on, or internally, externally rotate your feet. You should be able to get full flexion. You should be able to butt kick your own butt. Keep your abs engaged. Keep the pelvic floor on. We're going to take it to a gentle walk. Just real gentle. You're just trying to feel things, make sure that heel hits the butt, and does it equivalently on the opposite side. Good. Straighten those legs once again. Try to get your toes over the top of your head. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. Straight legs, toes pointed to your nose. And then feet back down on the ground, and straighten both legs again against the ground as you rock from side to side. Even though you guys cannot hear the music, I'm going to switch it out. Okay, roll off the ball and now come onto the roller. Oops, that was loud. Butt is on one end, head is on the other end. Whoa. Try to feel the balance that you've created in your body. You're going to take your arms out to the side to give someone very large a hug. You're trying to reach apart as far as you can. Try to get your fingertips away from each other as much as you can. But at the same time, try to keep your elbows against the ground. Squeeze your shoulder blades down and back as you do. Tighten your pelvic floor, close up your rib cage, suck in second chakra. Make sure those feet are parallel. Keep your abs engaged. So we started the class explaining to you how the calves can create different situations in the body, especially low back pain, anterior head carriage, stomach problems, even knee problems. And as we worked it, we saw the body's resistance to coming out of that pattern because it's such an easy way to keep your calves tight because there's such a mechanical return off of them because they're so strong. But what we ended up having to do is turn on major muscles like your quads and your butt and your abs. This has also been a topic for this whole week. The major muscles, especially the major leg muscles and your glute max, are testosterogenic muscles. They're muscles that generate androgens and hormones, but primarily testosterone. And as testosterone levels go up, whether you're male and female, you feel a whole lot better. And as testosterone goes up, all the other hormones go up in proportion to it. So for females, that'd be estrogen and progesterone. Those will go up and you won't be testosterone dominant. And for males, it just makes them feel good because testosterone's coming up. But either way, testosterone makes you feel good and it makes you heal faster. So breathe. Now you can take your arms to your sides, palms facing down. Just breathe. Recenter versus thinking about what your rest of the day is going to be. See if you could take a better breath than the last breath you took. See if you could take a breath that's more healing and a better exhale that's more detoxifying. And then finally come into center as you find your way to meditation and listening and finally receiving. Gently, ever so gently, roll off your roller onto your back. See what the ground feels like underneath your back. If you've done everything correctly, it should feel like you're laying in a groove. You could stretch out your legs. But just assess what your body's been through. You feel like you're in a groove because your back stabilizers are stabilizing again and your hips are free to move. You stay laying on your back. I'm going to sit up to bring you home. Feel what it feels like to have the support of the earth underneath you. Humans, for whatever reason, stood up against the earth. Not on all fours, but all the way up on their feet. So as far as animals go, we're the farthest away from the earth besides birds. Whereas it would be so much easier to be supported by the earth. So since we got up this high, there must have been a motivation to see the horizon, to to see food, to minimize energy expenditure, increase locomotion. So we have to do all those things. But we should do it from meditation. So breathe and connect. You guys have done an extraordinary job. And on behalf of Maria and me, we just want to say thank you for being here, doing the crazy things we ask of you, being open and supportive. We appreciate you very much, and namaste.
Namaste.
Bye, Gillen.